All right, let's do this now here with our friend Jason Cole. And we'll get my friend's thoughts in here. Jace, I want to start. By the way, folks, please. You see, Jason Cole has decided not just to use his Stanford education to be a sports reporter, but he's actually an author. See, I mean, there's in here. And what I like about this book here, see, it's easy reading. There's no pictures, though, which is really not cool.
This is not good for Sileo.
No, this is not. No. I mean, and they got it. The words have to be a little bigger. However, I like how simple it is for me.
Yeah.
And by the way, too, it's really a great read, too. It's how, again, it's not a blueprint how to raise your kids in sports. But what it is it's a pretty good guideline on how many times I've caught myself screaming at a referee and having people come over to me and go, "Can you please pipe it down? We're going to have to ask you to leave." This can help here. And again,
I got a great story about being screamed at by a ref. So this is back in my 20s when I was reffing like 7th grade basketball leagues on Saturday mornings, stuff like that. And I'm reffing this league and the kids are lined up and the kid's at the free throw line, right? And one kid commits the lane violation, but the kid hasn't shot the ball yet. And so as soon as the one kid commits the lane violation, this one older gentleman who's coaching literally jumps up and starts screaming, "Call that!" And of course, I'm waiting for the kid to shoot the ball because there's no lane violation until you actually shoot the ball, right? Because there's no advantage to the play unless you don't get an extra shot until you shoot and miss, right?
Right.
And to which then he shoots the ball, I whistle it, and I look straight at him and I go, "It's good if you know the rules when you complain about them." Right? Yeah, like it's not a violation until he shoots. And I'm looking at the guy and I'm like, "Go on." And I explained this thing for a good 15 seconds to him about how he has no idea what the rules are and make him about that big.
Well, here's my experience at the refs. I see somebody do something stupid, and here's what I'll say. I've got $100 in my pocket. I promise you, I want to make this game as fair as possible. I'll give it to you. And the guy, then people come over and they go, "You can't be bribing referees." And I'm going like, "Oh, yes, you can."
Yes. I'm from UM. I know all about.
Hey, trust me. I got a lesson from Tim Donaghy. Don't tell me you can't bribe any. I know what I'm doing here. So, Jace, I don't know what it is. I catch myself like this uncontrollable person that you hate in life. You hear scream, especially when your kid's involved. And I'm sitting here going, I'm reading the book and it's reminding me of this because I'm going like this. "Hey, call that. Are you blind?" And I'm going like, I would never do that in my own life for myself. But I'm doing that. I don't know what it is.
It's hard. It's really hard when you're a parent. It's hard to get involved. And screaming at refs is not the worst thing in the world. This is more about manipulating your kids' lives when you're a parent. And that's what's really a bad thing. Screaming at a ref, okay, you should probably turn that down. I always used to, when I coached Little League, again, back in my 20s, this is before I ever had kids. I was coaching Little League and we used to have a parent meeting at the beginning of every year. It was a do's and don'ts. And the one thing I always said is, you can cheer as loud as you want for your kids. I talk to the refs. I talk to the umpire. I talk, like they like the guy in blue is off limits for you. But then I did have this great one where a guy blew a call at the plate, right? I knew he'd blown a call and I went up and my catcher was just, my catcher was just beside himself. He's a 12-year-old kid. And he's like, "I made the tag. I did everything right. I did this." And he's like, and I'm trying to calm the kid down, right? Because I got to keep his head in the game a little bit. And I come up and I look at my kid and the umpire's right behind him, like directly behind him. And I'm like, I go, "Ben, I know it's a terrible call. It's one of the worst calls I've ever seen, Ben. Trust me, Ben. It's a horrendous call, right? And because I'm talking to my kid, but I'm talking right at the umpire.
This guy's giving him a Pete Rose. I'm not looking at the ref, but I'm talking to you here. Jace, let me get into some ball here.
Sure.
These contracts now, Lamar Jackson gets his contract.
Sure.
Jalen Hurts has his contract, pretty much the same kind of deal. If you were a betting man,
not exactly. If you really understand the flow of contracts, Lamar's is a better contract, but he had to wait to get it.
Why is it better, Jace? Why is Lamar's better than Jalen's?
Because it doesn't include. It's not extended over the last 2 years of the current deal. Look, this is agent kind of stuff.
So this is it's basically a 3-year deal then.
Right. It's basically a 3-year deal. And so they can get out after, basically year 6 of his career for not that much money. And it's okay. But it's still great money. And this is a deal that, for all intents and purposes, Lamar Jackson should have taken after year 3 or year 4. And he waited for this money. And that's, we're just talking about degrees here, where Lamar's deal is a true 5-year deal with $186 million guaranteed, whereas Jalen's is slightly different. That allows them to get out faster because they bought out the last 2 years of his original deal. That's all.
Did Lamar's gamble pay off? See if we can bring him back here in a second here. Okay, here we go. Hey, Jace, did Lamar's gamble pay off?
No, not appreciably. He got the same deal he was going to get no matter what. So he's still it's still a great deal. And still, he did well. He took a stand over nothing. And this is what happens when people don't understand the dynamics of how contract negotiations work. If he had an agent explain to him, look, this is about the best you're going to do. This is what the deal is. And you're not going to get the Deshaun Watson deal, pretty much no matter what, because I've done the research and I've talked to the teams and they're not going to pay this kind of money. Now, he would have had to trust the agent, that the agent knew what he was talking about, and he would have had to have a good, sophisticated agent to do that, which Lamar's never done. He's never trusted that person. So he had to go through the process of finding this out on his own. But he found out eventually what he was going to be told by an agent in the short run.
Is Howie Roseman the best general manager in the NFL?
He's really good. Best?
I mean, Jason,
that Veach guy who found Mahomes pretty good.
He started in Philly.
Yeah, he started in Philly. I don't know how you judge this. John Lynch does a really good job of working with Kyle Shanahan, right? Now, Shanahan drives the train on that one more. I think Howie drives the train a little bit more in Philly. So, yeah, I mean, look, they've done a heck of a job with, 2 Super Bowl appearances, since Howie took over.
But they've kept the momentum going where a lot of teams fall off after a Super Bowl. I mean, their draft. Hey, I'm with everyone. I'm not one of these guys who go on TV and say all that shit about this or that. I mean, to me, it's about addressing needs and then lining that up with talent. To me, what I saw they needed interior help. They got younger. They got cheaper, more inexperienced, but they got more athletic as well. They limited the damage. They got the 2 corners back. I mean, he pretty much retooled the football team, in my opinion.
But he's kept them at the lead of the NFC right now, without question. And they were there. He's done it. Everything looks good on paper. But you know how this league is. It could all fall apart in a week.
2 injuries, it's over.
That kind of stuff. Where Jalen Carter is he's as big a jerk bag as a lot of people think he is, right? That the people in Georgia who were telling the NFL scouts, hey, look, he's a turd. He can play, but he's a turd. I mean, he's got a lot of Warren Sapp to him in a lot of ways.
Let me throw this at you here. A couple of questions here. Ken, you think Hurts elevates his game more? Is that going to be a question that you're looking at here? I mean, he really – the year 1 jump to 2, Jason, has been incredible. The year 3 jump, though, usually you go in smaller increments. Now it's 4% improvement instead of 15%. Like if Mahomes improves 3%, Jesus criminy, he's continuing to get better. And you know what I'm saying? When you're at that level over there, any kind of improvement, it just you see it immediately with someone like that. Do you see him elevating his game to really being considered one of the elite guys in the game?
Like my concern is, does he make the full transition to being able to be a pocket quarterback? Like, does he have those does he transition his skill set over time? Because we talk about eventually the running game for quarterbacks starts to deteriorate. You take too many hits, all those things. And he's a courageous, tough kid. Look, I think he has all the right background in terms of coaching, intensity, all the things to make yourself better, but you got to go out and do it. And I think he has the skill set to become more of a pocket quarterback and transition away from running as heavy as he does. And they do run a relatively simple offense. It's not real complicated. Okay, so are they going to become a little bit more complicated as he progresses as a passer? All these things work together, right? So, we will see in this one. I like his chances because I like his makeup. Everything that people talk about with the kid, I love the makeup. It's like Anthony Richardson. I love the makeup of Anthony Richardson. What I don't like for Anthony Richardson is he hasn't thrown a lot of balls in college. So we will see how Streichen does with him.
How about this one here? The impact that Aaron Rodgers has on the Jets will be what in your book?
Oh, they make the playoffs.
Wow. First time in 12 years, Jets make the playoffs.
13, but yeah.
13, is it? Wow.
Yeah, I think it's 13. Yeah, they make the playoffs. Yeah, he gets them there. I mean, now winning the division, I'm not going to quite go that far, but playoffs. I mean, people just don't understand the little things that he does. My problem is this: I'll show up for at least half of the offseason. Like, come on, Aaron. This is your legacy.
You're in a new building. I mean, Jesus criminy, guy.
Right. This is not Green Bay, where you've been there for your entire career. This is a new place, man. Like, everybody's taking their cues off.
You think that's the thing, Jason, that has stopped him from really having the resume of Montana and Brady is because of this, what we're talking about here?
No. I think it's a combination of, I think that Ted Thompson, rest in peace, who was a great personnel man, right?
Yes.
I think was a little stubborn and did not feed that beast enough over time, right? Didn't say, let's go get him real weapons. Now, they did get Devontae Adams in the second round. They did a heck of a job to find that. But I always subscribe to sort of what Indianapolis did with Peyton Manning. When you have a stud like that, keep giving him weapons. Just give him guys. Keep giving him guys. Make his job easier and make it easier for him to make more great plays. And Green Bay, I think, didn't do that. Mike McCarthy, botched some games along the way. Matt LaFleur botched some games along the way. And yes, Aaron's contribution to that over the last 2 or 3 years has been to be overly stubborn and to almost say, I run this organization. I'm the guy in charge. I run the show, because for so many years I didn't get to run the show and my career was wasted. Well, you're now becoming your own worst enemy in certain situations. So it's a combination of both. But yeah, he certainly plays his part in this.
Finally here, with that being said, it's going to be the first time in 30-plus years there's no Aaron Rodgers or Brett Favre in Green Bay. They went out and did a ton of things for the new quarterback, Jordan Love.
Mm-hmm.
You think they're the worst team in the NFC North now?
The worst?
Yeah. I think the Bears – I think this kid, Justin Fields, I don't know, man. I mean, I'll tell you what. I thought he got better a little bit at the end of the year. I think they're trying to get him some pieces. I think the Bear organization is still in shambles right now. But, I mean, you think Green Bay
I think Detroit's the best team in that division.
I do too. I think Detroit, Minnesota, Chicago, and Green Bay.
Like a lot of it just depends on, is the quarterback good or not, and nobody knows. I mean, we saw him play in a game last year where it was like, that looks interesting.
He wasn't bad in the Philly game. Actually, he came in for Rodgers. Yeah. He threw a TD pass, and I was like, hey, that's not bad. I thought he was pretty decent in that game, actually.
Right, but you just don't know. Like, there's going from, hey, that's not so bad, like that's interesting, to actually making big plays to win big games. We're talking, that's miles of difference, right? So we'll see how the quarterback is. The Bears with Justin Fields, like, there's a lot of work that he's got to do. But boy, there were some times where him as a runner, like, I think there are moments where he looked like a better runner than Lamar.
I know. He's electric in open space.
Well, so is Lamar, but like Lamar does it with moves. This kid, like, there were times where I was like, he outran the angle. And I was like, the last time I saw a guy outrun the angle was Adrian Peterson. Like, he does stuff where you're like, the defenders had no idea just how fast he was. Now, sometimes people will get used to that and not get embarrassed like that anymore. But for that first game, or that first season of full-time starting, he did some really fascinating things. I just, it's like anything with those Ohio State kids. The Urban Meyer offense guys, like, they just don't read. They don't read, whether it's Tebow, Alex Smith is the only guy out of the Urban Meyer quarterbacks who ever really learned to do anything at the pro level. And it took a lot of pain for him to get there.
Now, this is the most important thing on today. Make sure when you're slicing your strawberries for your margaritas tonight, make sure they're thin, okay? Have a nice, nice drink. Spin it around a little bit if you want to. Let me see, ready to mix, or a nice tequila, depending on if you like Jose Cuervo or if you like another one.
I like the Tradicional, Cuervo Tradicional.
Oh, yes. Now you're an aristocrat because you're a Stanford guy. You know me, I'm a meat and potato guy, and I'm a blue collar worker. You're one of them ritzy ditzy
that guys. Expensive. Yeah, ritzy ditzy guy. Yeah. And I do throw Grand Marnier in it, so
I'm sure
or Cointreau, whatever you
I'm
like.
sure you eat your caviar not on a cracker like me, but on a chip.
Yeah.
Jace, have a great weekend. By the way, my friends, make sure you please check him out on Amazon. Jason does a great job.
I'm gonna go heckle you. I'm gonna heckle you, not your daughter. I'm gonna find a game. I'm gonna find where she's playing and you're in the stands, and I'm gonna go, hey, you big dumb clod, shut up. Shut up.
Jace, thank you, man. Have a great weekend, brother.
I'll talk to you. Be good.
You got it. That's my friend Jason Cole, Hall of Fame voter, and our dear friend. Thank you so much. Do me a favor, guys. Please hit the like button. Keep it here on the National Football Show.